Hello and welcome, I'm Thomas, and today I'm going to be comparing the Razer Viper Ultimate Mercury Edition to the Black Edition that I bought when it first released. Razer has claimed there are some improvements with their newest batches of the Razer Viper Ultimate, so let's see what those improvements are and if we can notice them. The first video will focus strictly on the clicks, if they have been fixed, and any changes that have been made. The second video will cover any other differences that I noticed when comparing the two. Check the description for any frequently asked questions, so without further ado, let's dive in. Do keep in mind this is a comparison and not a review. If you are interested in my review, you can find that link in the description. Starting with some terminology, anything that came out after September 18th, 2020, which was the release date of the Mercury White and Quartz Edition, will be called the Viper 2.0. Anything prior to that is the Viper 1.0. Keep in mind some of these changes were made to batches before that time. Anything discussed below will be present on the Black and Quartz Edition as well, and is not limited to the White version unless specifically mentioned. So, let's get nerdy. Most of the information that I'm about to discuss was framed and based off of Razer Write's Reddit posts. Those links can be found in the description below. I'm not an engineer, so take this next section with a bit of salt, as I could be misinformed. There are three parts that mouse makers shoot for when developing a mouse click. The first is speed, the second is reliability/durability, and the third is tactility/acoustics. The speed and reliability/durability of these clicks hasn't been the point of contention for people. It is the tactility of the switches that most enthusiasts are complaining about. If you're watching this video, you're probably an enthusiast. Best to come out of the closet now. So I'm going to start with a quote from a Razer rep on Reddit that goes by callsign Razer Write. It is as follows. When it comes to the tactility, there are multiple factors that play into it: pre/post travel, actuation force, springback force. The three combined become what we call click ratio, and for all those individual factors, consistency between them. These are all affected by both the switch and the mechanical design of the mouse itself. End quote. Now that we know what the click ratio is, we can dive into how the specific problems of the Razer Viper Ultimate have been improved with the new changes. But first, what click issues does it have? From my research, 4.3% of people have an issue with the Razer Viper Ultimate clicks. These issues include left/right inconsistency, squeaky/crunchy clicks, and pre-travel. All three of those fall under the pre/post travel section. Last, loose/spongy clicks fall under the springback force. First, we'll talk about what pre/post travel is. The pre part of this means that when you press the button, how far does it go before it actuates, then how much further does it go before it bottoms out. The post part means when you release the button from either the actuation point or the bottom out point, how far does it move until it resets. The shorter the pre/post travel, the quicker, more responsive, snappy, and premium a click feels. The longer the travel, the slower, delayed, mushy, and cheap it can feel. The shorter the overall travel, the higher the likelihood of an error happening if something were to malfunction, as the margin of error is smaller, whereas it is opposite if you have a longer travel, which is why most mice manufacturers opt to have around a medium pre/post travel distance, as it gives good balance. This pre/post travel can also differ between left and right click. In my reviews, I classify this coming in 5 different tolerances: low, medium, medium/long, and long travel. Can I get a "that's what she said" in the comments, please? The Viper 1.0 has a low/medium amount of travel, meaning you feel the plastic move a bit before you feel/hear the click. The same goes for when it resets. This is one reason why people say it feels mushy, as they can feel the plastic move before they feel/hear the click. This is also why they say it has too much pre-travel, as it isn't lined up with the actuation point. The other aspect of a mushy click is the springback force, which we will be discussing shortly. With the Viper 2.0, this has changed, or at least on my model, as I would classify it as low, completely taking out the medium portion of it. Arguably, it is shorter than the Logitech G Pro Wireless, which is super short, as the actuation feels immediate before the plastic even starts to move, and then it resets just as fast, making it feel very responsive and crisp. I've also found the left and right click to be nearly the same. This could be due to it being a brand new mouse and not having enough time to wear in, or just variances between devices, so take all of these statements with a bit of salt. However, confirmation bias aside, Razer Write said they have tighter tolerances, which appears to be true. To explain exactly what a tighter tolerance means, and do keep in mind that I'm grabbing random numbers here and that you shouldn't take them to be absolute truth, that with the Viper 1.0, they may have allowed clicks to be anywhere from, say, 0mm to 0.5mm, which means some people could have great pre/post travel and crisp clicks if they were closer to the lower end of that millimeter, or others could could have really poor pre/post travel with mushy clicks, with them being closer to the 0.5 millimeters. With the Viper 2.0, they may now only allow 0 millimeters to 0.2 millimeters, which means everyone should have a crisp click with low pre/post travel. If you have a Razer Viper 1.0 or 2.0, I'd love to hear what you would classify your clicks as in the comment section below, just to see how true this ends up being. Next up is Actuation Force, but since that hasn't changed and isn't an issue, I'm going to skip it. I will mention here that the acoustics, or the sound of the click on the Viper 2.0, is about twice as loud as the Viper 1.0. It's also higher pitched, so it could annoy others in the room if it were quiet. Last up is the springback force. This is how heavy/light the spring is to push the switch back up. This is another point where you can get a nice crisp click or mushy click from. As with a heavy spring, when you press it down, it will provide some extra force pushing against you and then violently spring back up quickly, making it feel a lot snappier/sharper. Whereas the opposite is true with a weaker spring, making it feel mushier. The Viper 1.0 feels looser, whereas the Viper 2.0 feels tighter. Once again, this could be due to being a brand new mouse, but they report they increased the tightness of this, and when comparing side to side, this appears to be true. I still consider my Viper 1.0 click to be very similar to the Logitech G Pro Wireless, but with the Viper 2.0, that click is a lot sharper and crisper than the Logitech G Pro Wireless, or at least for the time being. When comparing to my Razer Viper Mini, I feel it to be very similar, but would also give the win to the Viper 2.0. Woo! We are done with that. Who knew so much went into a click? And we even skipped over a bunch of stuff. If you're interested in learning more about the differences of this mouse compared to the Viper 1.0, make sure to check out part 2. Otherwise, if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike, and comment if you have a question or anything to say. And last, subscribe to see more content like this, along with hitting that bell notification so you know when I upload a new video. Amazon associate links are in the description down below in case you are interested in any of the products you have seen in this video or the gear that I use. And we'll see you and your beautiful face on the next one. God bless and peace out.